Hello, bonjour everyone, it is Inco here and we are back with our Mordor campaign. And much like the Dalish, Rohan has offered us a ceasefire, or at the very least, they're asking for a ceasefire. And we've been at war for 160 turns. That is absurd. That is a large portion of our campaign. I'm going to say 3/4. And you know what? We're going to do the exact same thing we did to the Dalish. Because there's 2 reasons we're going to do this. 3 reasons, actually. The first, I fear that Dawn Death and Hormarath around Foldberg are not going to be able to come out on the upper side of things. They're probably going to get killed. Because I'm thinking Rohan has thousands of men around Foldberg. I'm not even joking. They have probably 5,000, 6,000, 7,500 men around Foldberg. We obviously don't have that number. We maybe have 4,000, 5,000. The second reason is if we're not going to attack Foldberg, we may as well go get the goddamn ring and Bree. That's right. I've been talking about it for a long time. People have been asking me, when are you going to go get the ring? Come on, it's in Bree. Come on. You know, why don't you go get Sauron? And you know what? I think now's the time. The third reason is that we can demand regular tribute from Rohan. So apparently 1,500 for 10 turns was balanced. So was 2,000. Maybe we'll go 2,500 for 10 turns. What I'm thinking is we can take both Dondes and Hormarath, and we can head for Bree, get the ring, bring it back, and be back in time for tea. It'll be great. We can also begin building armies in like Edoras, Aldborg, etc., etc., just to, you know, as like a garrison force while we head to Bree. Now, the Rohirrim don't want to pay a lot of gold. 850 gold per turn for 18 turns. Are we going to be at peace for that long? Probably not. So we will ask for some regular tribute, but maybe we won't go 10 turns. Maybe like, I don't know, 6 turns, 12,000 gold coins over. Okay, we probably lowballed it there. At the very least, we have a ceasefire. So now we can screw Foldberg. I mean, like, look at this. These are all the Rohirrim that we're going to just dogpile Dawn Death and Hormarath. All of these guys. I'm talking thousands upon thousands. I did a little bit of scouting off camera. They've just got so many men. And we may actually be boxed in there. So, I don't know. We'll head to Bree. I've also spent our entire treasury on buildings. I'm just trying to increase public order in our tax centers, increase culture in places where it's low, shit like that. Rune is apparently tried to do some diplomacy there. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know. Okay, so here we are. Turn 192. Jesus Christ, what a long campaign. Okay, so we spent 17,000 gold last turn, and we are making roughly 4,000 per turn. 630 plus 3,200, yeah, roughly 4,000. So there we go. We've recruited some Orc Raiders this turn and retrained all of these units. We've also got a spy in Tirith Anduin, which is wunderbar. Where do we want this guy to go? Now look, it's that guy. We've seen that portrait before. We'll have him head into Elvish territory. There we go. We've also got Adunafel right here. I want him to build a watchtower on the border. Hoping that Elvish army doesn't attack him. I didn't really think about that at all. It's Ragbund. He's on our borders and he's looking menacing. Okay, the dwarves hate us. We're not at war with Rohan anymore, and apparently Isengard is the richest faction. For some unknown reason, they are raking in the cash. I mean, look how big they are. They've got 1 settlement in Orthanc. How much cash could they possibly be making? 2,000 per turn. Oh my word, they actually have quite an army here. They've got some guards of Orthanc, yada yada. Let's hope that they can bust out of Isengard itself. That would be great. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to grab Lug here. And we're going to do a bit of scouting ahead of Dawn Death and Hormwrath, who are in fact stuck between all of these armies of Rohan. And we're just hoping that they don't want to declare war on us. So next turn we can head forward. Dawn Death, the engineer, the man with many faces. My word. Okay, so we've got a bunch of reinforcements heading towards Edoras. We've got some archers. Lagduff returning to Entwade. Edoras itself is kind of full of units. We're recruiting some archers, just to like Garrison, I suppose. You know what we could do, though? We could switch out this ballista for a catapult. Let's see what Dawn Death needs. He's got a bunch of infantry, halberds, orc bands, raiders, a lot of raiders. He's got some maulers, some Alakai. He could use maybe some more archers, I suppose. At the very least, he needs a catapult. So we'll grab this catapult, we'll grab these orc archers, and we'll head to meet up with Dawn Death. Now, I don't know what units they would have in Bree. I suppose it's like Dunedain, Arnorian units, which is actually pretty shitty, because they're going to have some serious firepower. And by firepower, I mean extremely strong units. So what I want to do is bring some catapults, most definitely. In the meantime, as I said, we'll move units forward towards Edoras and Entwade. Tirith, Anduin, Entwade, and Edoras are probably going to be our front line for a little bit, plus Thornburg. So we do have Ren the Unclean in Thornburg. His army is also being built. We've got chunks of it arriving every day via the Black Gate, Malgalad, etc., etc. We're going to retrain some Alakai in Barad-dûr. We've got some trolls heading towards Minas Morgul, which are also going to be retrained. And we may as well send these trolls to the Western Front, because, you know, we're going to need them at some point. I mean, Hormwrath already, he needs some shock units. Dawn Death's Alakai are looking a little dusky around the lips. That is, they need some retraining. Well, I think we'll hold on to the cash for now, and we ought to look at what kind of units we need to recruit, because what I've been doing so far is just like slamming down units, spending cash because I have it, and then I find out I've got, you know, 2 Urukai here, a bunch of Uruks in the army, bunch of Uruks here. Like, I need some shit tier units as well, like Orc Band. You know, try to round out the armies. So what I ought to do is, at the end of the turn, I think I'll look at my armies a little bit and determine who needs what reinforcements for the time being. So Dol Guldur is still empty as hell. Not a lot of action around Robanost, although there is Captain Yiltig here with Luk Flagrim and Luk Inasrim and some clan guard Luk Narim. All sorts of sweet units. Ren the Unclean, his army is nearly complete. I just need to shove some more units in there. But as I said, I'll look at it at the end of the turn, and I can recruit and retrain units in Minas Tirith. I've got some units heading towards West Osgiliath, a new governor, that is. So yeah, I've got buildings being built in like Pelargir, Arnak, not Minas Tirith, but perhaps Aldburg. I've got a Temple of Melkor. Edoras is nothing. Woldburg, Entwade, Tirith, Anduin. Yeah, not a lot going on this turn, so I'm just going to end it and very quickly take a look at my army. So I'll see you guys in just... And we're back. Nothing really happened. Just shuffled some units around, recruited some stuff. Basically what it is, I've got a template for how I want my armies to be. If we look at Dwarf War, it's pretty much what it is. I want a core of 2 Orc Bands, supported by 2 Morning Guard, further supported by 2 Uruk Halberds, so that's my anti-cavalry force. My Uruk Halberds double as anti-armor, so they can flank around or whatever. My Orc Raiders are my flanking force, followed by my Orc Maulers, who will also be anti-armor. And then I've got my Uruks, who are like the hammer to my anvil. They will stand toe-to-toe with any infantry the enemy can throw at me. And this is a pretty cost-effective army, I find. Usually I just lose a lot of like Orc Band and Raiders, because they're the ones I use to tire out the enemy. Although I am on the Elvish front here, so I might want to invest in some more, you know, elite units like Uruks and such. So I actually have a lot of Uruks in Thornburg. I've got 2 units of Uruks here. I've got 1 more heading to Malgalad. Instead, I'll have them... Actually, yeah, they'll garrison Malgalad as like a reinforcement army if necessary, and then I have a secondary unit of Uruks as well. So I've got 2 units of Uruks that can be put into an army, and I have a unit of halberds for Ren the Unclean because he is short 1, not to mention some maulers, etc., etc. So, ideally what I'd like to do is remove the siege equipment from all of my main armies because right now they slow down my armies significantly. You can see the movement penalty, rather, these units give to my armies. What I would have is like a secondary army just chock full of like raiders or whatever crap units I can bring, and they would, you know, just bring up the rear. And if I need to besiege a place, I have siege equipment, etc. Or if I need siege equipment for a field battle, it's right there. I've just got to switch out some units. Much like I did in my English campaign, right? For those of you who watched that shit years and years ago. It's just a matter of cash. Right now we are lucky because, well, we don't have to worry about being attacked so much because we are at peace with pretty much everyone for the longest time in a long time. Well, I should say for the first time in a long time, we are finally at peace. It's crazy. What I'm going to do, I shouldn't have moved Dawndeath because we want him to take this catapult with him. Perhaps what we can do is take these units here. These are my reinforcement units for Hormarath and Dawndeath. I can take these units and build like that little sub-army I was talking about, and it will bring up the rear. So when we finally get to Bree, we will be able to besiege immediately. Now, it looks like Rohan just captured Dunneard, so it's going to be an issue for them if we're to march all of our armies through there. Obviously, they're not going to like that, so we'll just park Hormarath on the border in Isengard for now. And Dawndeath will meet up for him. And you know what? We may as well just spend a turn and wait for this little reinforcement army to arrive as well. And now those guys can march to Bree. I've begun to reorganize our army in Tirith Anduin, who Adunifel is leading. Right? We are going to try to garrison some of these cities as well. These Morning Guard are going to return to probably Aldborg, yep, for retraining. And then these Morning Guard are going to head to Entwade just to garrison the place. We're going to want some archer units there eventually. I've begun recruiting some archers in our holdings here outside of Edoras, etc. Just because if we get besieged, obviously, we want to be able to rain hell down upon the enemy. Probably just want Orc Band, Raiders, etc. in these cities. So I've got 2 units of archers I want to send to Entwade. And then in Aldborg, we'll recruit some Raiders. And that's fine. So we're beginning to build a garrison on the Western Front. As for Thornburg, we have a huge army. We have got Dwarvois floating around in the field to react. And, you know, we may as well take him and send him into Mirkwood to pick up some mercenaries if possible. As for our income, it's really not looking so good all of a sudden. We're now making 1,600 a turn, 1,700 a turn, due to all of our recruitment, so we got to be careful about that. But you know what, I'm not really too concerned. These trolls, as I said, are going to head out to Edoras, to that front, which is going to cost us a little bit of cash. Were they getting free upkeep there? I believe they were. Hard to say. We've also recruited and retrained some Alakai and the Black Gate, which are going to head to Ren the Unclean, or even Dwarvois. I think his... No, he still has a unit of trolls. But we're just shuffling units around, which is dreadfully boring. I, too, fell asleep halfway through all of that. So basically not much is going on right now. We're just gearing up to head over to Bree, moving units around. So we may as well just end our turn yet again here and move on. Interestingly enough, the Sylvan Elves are offering trade rights and map information, and we're going to accept because we really don't have any reason not to. We can feed off them for now, build up some really powerful armies, and begin to bring the fucking hammer down. We will get the ring, come back, and proceed to rain down an unholy hell upon the remnants of Rohan. And we can probably do like a two-front war, capturing and defeating some Sylvan Elves while we're at it. We have a new spy who's going to keep an eye on the Sylvans just north of Tirith Anduin. We've got Luglan going between Fangorn Forest and Limelight Fort. And we may as well try to infiltrate Limelight Fort. 64% chance, and he's done it. So there we go. We've got line of sight there now. As for Fangorn, we can probably stash Gazlan in there as well. 70% chance. He's done it. There's nothing in Fangorn. So we... Actually, you know what? Let's put this guy in Karis Galadin. Now, wouldn't it be hilarious if he was to die? We had a 90% chance to succeed in that mission, and he died. Obviously, the mission where we had the highest success rate has failed. How ironic. Okay, we're going to recruit some spiders. Very nice. So that's another unit for Dwarf Wah's army. These spiders, I want to give them to Ren the Unclean, but they're so weak, I may as well just disband them. And Ren the Unclean can hire his own unit of spiders eventually. All of these units are shuffling around. Wonderful. We've got some maulers for Ren the Unclean as well. Gazlan is inconspicuous. Wonderful. Now, we've recruited a bunch of scouts in Minas Tirith. Why would I have done that? Why do I want scouts? I don't. What a waste. Perhaps to garrison the city? Sure. Let's just leave them as is. Usually, I like to recruit orc archers, because they are much more effective than scouts, and much more abundant as well. If we look at our archery range, we can see that scouts, we can only ever recruit one at a time. And they're not much cheaper than orc archers, but orc archers are quite a bit better. So if I fill my cities with orc archers, if I ever need, you know, a wing of missile units, I should have units just standing by. We've also built a troll breeder in Mount Doomington, which is great because we can eventually begin pumping out trolls if we need to. I think we're actually doing pretty well for trolls right now. In Little Marshwall, we're building some mines. Little Marshwall is actually one of our most lucrative settlements, if you would believe it. Minas Tirith, Pelargir, Barad-dûr, Ardborg, Arnak, Woldberg, those are all believable settlements to make us cash. And then Little Marshwall, right there. Nurnen is also pretty great, but the thing about Little Marshwall, other than, you know, it's a nice retirement community surrounded by mines, weirdly enough. I mean, if you're old and retired, you don't really want to be hearing the clanging of picks against stone, but there you go. The thing about Little Marshwall is there's still a lot of buildings we can build, to the tune of, you know, like temples of Melkor, mining places, you know, shit that will increase our production by quite a bit. In Barad-dûr, of course, we're going to retrain both these units. Actually, these scouts, we're not going to bother. I'm really disillusioned with scouts. I've never had a lot of success with them. Orc archers, on the other hand, have been pretty cost-effective for me, and Uruk archers even more so. So I've begun to recruit some higher-tier units, you know, over in, like, Rohan. Speaking of, we're going to move Dawn Death into Isengard. I don't know if we have, like, military access with Isengard, but they're going to have to suck it up because we're here anyway. So Edoras has a pretty respectable garrison, but we're going to want, you know, a few more units throughout Aldborg, Dunharrow, etc. Because the thing is, if we can see that an enemy army is approaching, we can stuff all of our units into a certain city, you know, within a reasonable amount of time, that is. So in Tirith Anduin, we've got a pretty good army. What do we need to do in Tirith Anduin, though? Not much. The tax rate is already low. I would like to build some public order buildings eventually. It's not really necessary, though. Yeah, so we're pretty much just going to churn through our turns. I just like to ramble, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I just like to talk about stupid shit. It's not really necessary, but it certainly drags out the episode. So we're just going to retrain these units in Minas Tirith very quickly, and then we're going to end our turn. Here we go. Oh shit, guys. Lord Galen has turned rebel. It looks to me like the Haradrim could not hold onto the city. So now it's gone bandit. Smoky bandit. And now the Haradrim are going to have to deal with that. I almost wish we could just swoop in and take the place, but no. We'll try to infiltrate. We failed. I don't know. We don't really need a spy down here. Radbag will take a look at the last city of Gondor, which appears to have been captured. Yeah, it says it's Harad. So my question is, has Gondor not been eliminated, or did we get the event and I just completely forgot? I don't know. We detected an agent in Thornburg from Dale, and he's been executed, which is nice. As for cash, somehow we're still making 2,800. I don't know, our income fluctuates so wildly, I could not tell you. We're going to take our new spy. My god, Yagrat, you do not look inconspicuous at all. But you do actually have quite a bit of skill. So we'll send you to Karis Galadin, and hopefully you can infiltrate it. Speaking of infiltration, someone has just died, so try to be a little bit better, will you? Okay, we're moving our reinforcements into the lands of Rohan, and you know what? We're going to grab our 2 armies and attempt to... Okay, well, the Rohan is displeased with us, but we're going to send these 2 units back eventually. Maybe next turn for retraining, because they're very weak. We've pretty much... I don't know, we've done a lot of recruitment in the west right here, and we've got a pretty good, you know, handful of units here, which will be very helpful if and when Rohan decides to, you know, turn the blade in our back. So we got to look forward to that. We do have some Uruk units, though, that need to head to the front lines. And we're going to try to recruit some Uruk archers in Minas Tirith as well. 2 units ought to do it. And we will grab these scouts and and we'll say fuck you and go fuck off and die. That would be wonderful. And there we go. Now we've got some trolls heading to Edoras, and they're probably just going to sit around until our armies return from Bree. You know. Okay, we've got some trolls heading north. All of these units are heading north. Ren the Unclean is very soon going to have a respectable army of his own, and he's just giddy, I can tell you. He's just so goddamn happy, it's sickening. No one should be that happy in all of Mordor. It's ridiculous. We're gonna just kind of stick Dwarf in these trees here. I don't think he can, like, hide. I don't know. It looks, though, that we have a pretty good, you know, intelligence system. We've got an eye on all of these cities of the elves. We're going to get this guy to head into the forest. There we go. Hopefully we can get some spies into Rovanosht as well, so we can keep an eye on Dale, and we have done. Lovely. So we don't have to move spies every turn. And we can see that there's half a stack here, a few units in Rovanosht eventually. I would really like to, you know, cross swords with Dale eventually, capture some of their lands. But you know what? It's really nice not being at war. We can just take a breather. Dawndeath can kick up his booted heels. He can flex his gauntlets. And, you know, just kind of relax. It's wonderful. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the population of Arnak is abysmal, as is the population in Minas Tirith, because we've been taxing the hell out of them. And some of these cities, mostly cities in, you know, Rohan, but also Pelargir. Pelargir is very nearly ready to upgrade, and I'm not too concerned. Wow, I did not mean to click that, but hey, Sauron is a great cardinal. And if we look at our standing, we can see it's great. And you know what? We can request an invasion pretty soon. Who should we request to invade? I almost wonder if we should, like, request an invasion on the High Elves. And then we can kind of get, like, Isengard and Rohan? No, Isengard and Harad to kind of go after them. You know, keep them off our back. We're going to continue to march north. Actually, no. We want our spy to be somewhat close to our armies. Just, you know, to really maximize our line of sight. That would be great. Yeah, these armies will be ready to go next turn, so we may as well end our turn. Although, we do need to put a watchtower Right about here. We will do. Boom. So now we have a better line of sight into Waldburg. There's not a big, you know, mysterious splotch here. We do have to deal with these rebels eventually because they are causing devastation, which is costing us per turn. Not a huge amount. But anyway, we may as well end the turn, and we'll build these armies and finally head out for Bree. Hopefully the ring will still be there by the time we arrive, but since we're not at war with anyone, it's going to be a complete surprise. Can't wait. 'Tis a bit chilly, everyone, because it is winter. It is the winter of 3028 of the Third Age. Who knows how long this campaign has been going on? It's crazy how long this campaign is. 196 turns. Okay, Aalborg now has a new temple. As a result, nothing is really happening. The whole point was to increase culture, but also like population growth, because Aalborg is very nearly ready to upgrade. And I kind of want to upgrade Aalborg, because then we would be able to build a drill square, which would allow us to recruit tons of sick units in the west. Edoras already has a drill square, I believe, if we were to look. Yep. So we just kind of want to mimic what Edoras has, but it would require us to build this torture chamber just to increase the population growth, reduce taxes, etc. It wouldn't take long at all, I don't think, but we're not going to do that right now. Pelargir also has a temple, and Arnak has a torture chamber for the same reason, just to increase population growth. Pretty much, the bigger your population is, the greater the tax, although it's not one... I don't really know how the population correlates to the tax rate. If we look at Arnak, taxes are 796, there's only 7,000 people here. But if we look at Minas Tirith, which has double the population, they pay less in tax. So I think it has more to do with the governor than anything, really. But we'll try to upgrade Aalborg and just try to appease Arnak. See, the thing with Pelargir is I wanted to build some buildings here to increase public order as well, because we can't crank taxes all the way up in Pelargir due to public orders. So I think what we want to build is something like a commander's office, which would increase public order significantly. And then finally we would be able to, you know, crank the taxes extremely high. Okay, so if we look at our armies here, we've got Dawndeath and Hormarath. Dawndeath has 2 units of orc bands, 1 extra unit of orc band, 2 units of orc bands, 2 units, well, he's missing a unit of Morning Guard, so there's our first solution. Our first solution, 2 units of Morning Guard, 2 halberds, 2 uruks, 4 raiders, 2 maulers. Actually, we have 3 units of uruks, so we'll just take this unit, stick it in our reinforcement army for now, I suppose. And you know what? He's missing some missile units. So we'll give him 2 units of Uruk archers. We'll take these orc archers out. Possibly give them to Hormarath. There we go. Hormarath has 3 orc bands. One of them needs to, you know, go back for reinforcement. These guys need to go as well. So we've got 2 orc bands and 3 raiders, rather. So we're missing a unit of raiders. So we'll take these 2 armored and experienced raiders, and we'll take out one of these shitty ones. These guys have no experience, nor do they have armor. So we'll put them back. So you can kind of see the idea of my army templates here, just to, you know, make it easier to build armies. Hormarath is missing siege equipment entirely. We'll give him the ballista. He does not have any Morning Guard, so we'll give him those. He doesn't have any halberds, so we'll give him those. He's got 2 units of orc archers. These guys may as well go back for retraining, because we have one right here. And then he doesn't have any uruks either, so we'll give him those. And then we've got 2 extra units, I suppose. Yes, we do, and they may as well go to Hormarath. And now we've got a pretty good force to capture Bree. So I hope you guys, you know, weren't bored to death by that formation. But, you know, at least you know what my armies look like. But here we go. We've got 2 pretty good armies ready to head to Bree. We've got Adunafel sitting in Tirith Anduin on the cusp of invasion. We've got 3 armies ready to march on the elves in the drop of a hat, basically. And we still have like 2,500 gold to mess with for like garrisons and shit like that. So you know what? It's also if my 2 armies return from Bree, they're probably going to need reinforcements as well, so they can be a dual purpose situation there. So it's not too bad. But these guys are going to head out. We're going to keep Lug with Dawn Death for now. Let's not forget. Actually, you know what? We can keep Lug with Dawn Death at all times. So that now he can, you know... Whoa! He can do a bit of scouting if need be. And that's pretty much it. Door of Wa. How long would it take to get more spiders? Who the fuck knows? Well, you know, we'll just put him at these crossroads for now. Ren the Unclean. I'll organize his army off-screen because he still has units coming. But that's pretty much it for this episode. I mean, I'm really glad to be at peace. It's great. Because we don't have to... Oh, shit, these rebels are a real group of assholes. We just built this watchtower and they've just come to shit all over the foundations. I don't believe it. These guys are pure dickheads. Do we have an agent in Limelight Fort? What the hell? I thought we put one in. He must have been found. So we'll put him back in. He infiltrated it, no problem. Also, we'll head into Karis Galadin. And we've also gotten into there. Was that... that portrait looked a lot like... It is. It's Haldir. He's still alive. And he's 85 years old. My god. When was the last time we saw Haldir? Who knows? It was a long-ass time ago. A long, long time ago. Okay, we've infiltrated Dol Guldur as well. We may as well get into wherever the hell this is. Austin Gill. We'll try. And we've also infiltrated there. Wow, 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 wow. We're having huge amounts of success with our infiltrations. It's crazy. Okay, you know what? I'm going to end here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're definitely making some progress. I am pleased to announce that we're going to finally, after like 70 goddamn episodes, we're going to get the ring. We're going to get Sauron, and he's going to shit all over the elves and Rohan. And you know what? We'll take a quick look at our victory conditions. We still have 200 turns to annihilate Rohan, Gondor, the Sylvans, Dwarves, and the High Elves. So I'm thinking it's kind of like a snowball thing. As soon as we destroy Rohan and we get like a few stacks built up, then we're just going to let loose. It'll be crazy. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series. If you are, leave a like, leave a comment. Always appreciated. I read all the comments. If you'd like to get updates on uploads, you know, what's going on in my life, check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. All the links to my social media are down below. By the way, I've just gotten a subreddit. It's going to be up and running pretty soon. But anyway, come back next Tuesday for another episode of our Mordor campaign.